We all know a good storyteller, the kind of person who can make a tale of grass growing sound more riveting than the Sydney Harbour Bridge. With the first word out of their mouth, you're lost in a whirlwind narrative of what is probably no more than half-truths and gross exaggerations. But you couldn't care one bit, because you'll be damned if you've ever heard a tale more interesting. And that's exactly what Techland's Call of Juarez Gunslinger is, a clean shot of whiskey after the bad dream that was the cartel. I've always had a soft spot for westerns, and as a fan of both the original Call of Juarez as well as Bound in Blood, I was very pleased to see Techland return to form with Gunslinger. And the funny thing is, despite being a smaller, lower budget release over the likes of Bound in Blood, the necessity for more conservative game design may be directly responsible for just how great Gunslinger is. Luck would have it. I firmly believe that if there's any one part of a shooter more crucial to the formula than anything else, it's the simple act of pointing and shooting. It sounds dumb, but so many games get it wrong, trying to drive the experience with other hooks. It's like if a platformer had bad platforming. No amount of good storytelling or fancy graphics will save it from mediocrity. By restraining the design and avoiding forgettable gimmicks, Gunslinger focuses entirely on the satisfying feedback and joy of good old-fashioned gunfights, suitable for a western. It's a twitch shooter in the purest sense, almost like an in-between of an arcade rail shooter and your typical stop and pop. Encounters flow thick and fast, as does the blood, and you're encouraged to shoot fast and straight and not stop for nobody. Practically every layer of mechanics revolves around some gimmick or feature built to enhance the speed and intensity of every firefight. You'll recharge your concentration meter to slow down time and line up shots, clear an entire area faster than you can blink with automated chained headshots, and even make a last-minute dodge away from a death-dealing bullet aimed right between your eyes. A simplistic leveling skill system that slowly but surely makes you a more effective gunslinger is made all the more enjoyable by an equally simple but nonetheless enduring XP score tracker, rewarding you greater and greater points based on kill speed multipliers, location damage bonuses, and death-defying behaviour. It's a beautiful feedback loop, built to keep you strengthening your shooting and improving your skills with immediate rewards.
Half and no cap. Herb wasn't much of a match for him.
The minimalistic approach for storytelling means Gunslinger isn't, thankfully, bloated with 50 hours worth of cutscenes, but instead stylish comic book-like character introductions snapping on the screen, and brief pre-chapter interlude animations of hardened bounty hunter Silas recounting tales of blood and terror to a fascinated saloon audience. And then there's the narration. Throughout the bloodshed and adventuring, a progressively drunker Silas narrates the on-screen events as they unfold before your eyes, his correction of misplaced memories, questionable inaccuracies, and last-minute thoughts dynamically altering the on-screen events. There's some really clever storytelling going on here, and a ton of genuine smirk-worthy moments that I do not want to spoil, but I can safely say Gunslinger's narrative simplicity results in one of the more inventive and brilliantly fun interactive stories I've experienced in quite a long time. The rougher parts of Gunslinger are really just more chips and divots on otherwise excellent stuff. I really like the intensity of the duels, but I can see why some might find them a little trial and error and less accessible and immediately rewarding than the general gunplay. The in-engine cartoon graphics are beautifully stylish, but I did see a lot of shadow and asset pop in, and I guess an argument could be made for asset repetition. Sound is generally top stuff, as every weapon booms with terrific thunder, and the cast delivers a great performance, but I also had the occasional audio bug, usually on boot, which introduced some unpleasant static. I suspect the engine wasn't playing nice with my sound card. Soundtrack 2 is mostly great stuff, harmonica and guitar twangs reminiscent of Ennio Morricone, but then there's an occasional crunchy rock guitar riff which seemed a little outplaced to me. It's a little hard to care too much about any of that though. At anywhere between $15 to $20, Gunslinger is a steal. The campaign should last most people 3 or so hours, which might seem a little short, but the aforementioned scoring system and addictive gunplay is the reason you'll stick around, and Gunslinger knows this too. Offering a finely tuned leaderboard-driven arcade mode for score-savvy players, and multiple difficulties along with New Game Plus for making the most out of the campaign. And if you're anything like me, you will be sticking around for everything this game has to offer. Despite the gallons of blood and relentless violence, Gunslinger is elegant with its shooting, in a similar vein to games like Vanquish and Quake, focusing on the strength of the genre fundamentals and getting it right to the point of fun. And really, if there's any point to playing games at all, it's to have good old-fashioned fun. For these reasons, I'm giving Call of Juarez Gunslinger an 8 out of 10. It's a great game that every gamer should give a chance if the premise and genre appeals to them.